The message came in while I was locking the front door. Metal against metal. Click. Final. My hands smelled like citrus cleaner and burned sugar, the kind that never quite washes off. I stared at my reflection in the dark glass, chef's coat wrinkled, eyes hollowed out by hours of pretending not to notice the empty tables. "Dad, we need to discuss the restaurant." No congratulations, no apology, no explanation for the silence. Behind me, the dining room lights hummed like they were embarrassed for me. Every chair still perfect, every plate untouched. I'd planned this opening for 2 years. I invited them months ago, reminded them weekly, begged without using the word. They all went to Ezra's promotion party instead. My younger brother, the golden one, the one who never risked anything and still got everything. I typed nothing back. I stood there, breathing in the quiet, feeling something in my chest calcify. Not pain. Pain is loud. This was colder, heavier, like the moment you realize you've been drowning for a long time and no one plans to pull you out. My phone buzzed again. "Mom, we'll come by tomorrow, okay? Tonight just got hectic." Hectic. I laughed once. It echoed wrong. That's when I understood. This wasn't neglect. It was deliberate. Growing up, Ezra was always the future. I was the phase. They funded his MBA, paid his rent, celebrated his promotions like national holidays. When I said I wanted to open a restaurant, Dad called it a passion project, the way people talk about hobbies they expect you to abandon. Still, they took my business plan. They reviewed my numbers. They offered to help. I told myself it was support. The night of the opening proved otherwise. No missed calls, no emergencies, just photos. Ezra smiling under a banner, champagne raised, my parents flanking him like proud investors. And they were. I remembered the paperwork Dad insisted on handling, the supplier he recommended, the loan he said he'd optimize. I remembered how easily everything fell into place. Too easily. Suspicion doesn't scream, it whispers. When Dad texted about discussing the restaurant, I felt it settle in my spine. This wasn't about feelings. This was about control. I didn't confront them. I audited. Bank statements first. Quiet nights after closing. I traced numbers the way surgeons trace veins. Payments redirected. Fees duplicated. Ownership percentages adjusted in language that looked legal until you read it slowly. The restaurant wasn't fully mine. It never had been. Ezra's name surfaced in the margins. Consulting fees, silent partner clauses, temporary allocations that somehow became permanent. My parents didn't just skip my opening. They invested in his success using my dream as collateral. I pulled phone records, emails, old calendar invites, meetings I wasn't part of but were always scheduled on days I worked doubles. Every discovery felt surgical, precise, bloodless. I smiled at my parents when they finally visited, served them a tasting menu, watched them praise the food while knowing they'd already decided who deserved it more. Dad talked numbers, Mom avoided my eyes. Ezra didn't come. He didn't need to. The final confirmation arrived in an envelope, thick and quiet. Revised contracts, filed months ago, my signature scanned, forged. That night, I invited them all over, not to the restaurant, to my apartment. Neutral ground, no witnesses, just truth. I laid the papers on the table. No speech, no accusations. Dad went pale first. Mom cried silently, like she'd rehearsed it. Ezra laughed once, sharp and nervous. "It's business," he said. "You wouldn't have survived without us." I looked at him. "I did survive," I said. "You just fed off it." Silence cracked. I slid my phone across the table. New documents, filed that morning. I'd sold my share, not to them, to a competitor, a group that specialized in hostile takeovers and had already flagged the forged signature. The lawsuit would be public, ugly, expensive, career-ending. Ezra stood up too fast. Dad reached for the papers like he could still rearrange reality. "You can't do this," Mom whispered. I nodded. I already did. The restaurant would be rebranded, my name removed, their leverage gone. Ezra's promotion tied directly to the fallout. I wasn't taking revenge. I was exiting cleanly. That hurt more. I left before they finished panicking. The night air felt lighter without expectation weighing it down. I walked past the restaurant one last time. Now just a building, not a symbol, not a sacrifice. They kept texting. I didn't answer. Some dreams aren't meant to be lived. They're meant to show you exactly who will abandon you when it matters. And once you see that clearly, you never set the table for them again.